Coming up on Friday, it's Fantasy Friday on Fantasy Football Almost Daily. We'll preview all of this weekend's games. We'll talk about guys you can roll the dice on, and we'll crack a few tough nuts. Christian Peterson and Kent Wyrock will join me this Friday for the big show. Tell your friends and neighbors to tune in and subscribe to Fantasy Football Almost Daily. Fantasy Football Almost Daily is brought to you by Fanball. There's a Fanball 5x5 contest up right now for the Thursday night Bills versus Texans game. It's only $5 to play. We'll preview that game on this episode. I might give you the answer key to that one. It's also brought to you by Game Blazers. They're gearing up for a huge Thanksgiving week. This week, $36,000 in prizes. Next week, Thanksgiving week, $40K. All in free-to-play contests. And if you use referral code FFAD when you register, you'll get a free starter pack and a free rare pack. And a free rare pack is about $25. And if you spend $5, you'll get 2 more rare packs. That's a $50 value. Download Game Blazers today. We're going to preview the Thursday night contest between the Bills and Texans in Houston today. But before that, our intro music.
From the Sports Hub Games Network, this is Fantasy Football Almost Daily with your host, Matt Harrison.
Hey friends, Matt Harrison back again. You can find me on Twitter or on Blue Sky at Explosive Output. I'm actually giving away some Fanball Peacock tickets on Twitter this week, so you might want to follow me there and make sure that you follow my instructions. Heed my instructions. We're going to preview the Thursday night contest, but before we get to that, make sure that you are subscribed, you like, you follow, and give us a 5-star rating, a high five, if you will, on the Fantasy Football Almost Daily podcast. All right, let's get into it. We'll start with the Bills. Josh Allen just went unconscious last week. He scored 3 on the ground and another 3 through the air. I think it was the 3rd time ever a quarterback has done that. But the Texans are the number 1 QB defense in the league, and 6 of the last 7 quarterbacks they've faced have been held to under 200 passing yards. But those 6 were Cam Ward, Trevor Lawrence, Bo Nix, Mac Jones, Cooper Rush, and Cam Ward again. None of those guys are quite on the Josh Allen level. 6 of the 10 quarterbacks they faced have had at least 20 rushing yards, so that's good. I'll give Allen the A- grade. He's got upside like no other quarterback in the game, and while it's not a great matchup, you're not benching Allen even against the Texans. James Cook gets a C+ grade in this. His volume gets it done. He's had 18 or more touches in each of their last 4 games since the bye. Houston is one of the best run defenses in the league as well. They're just good everywhere on defense. They're first in combo yards allowed at only 96 per game, but that probably all goes to James Cook. And the Texans do give up about 1 running back touchdown per week, which should also be Cook. So we're looking at 96 yards and a touchdown. That's a C+/B- grade because Charge can't stop me from doing pluses and minuses, can he? No, he can't. Dalton Kincaid is usually Allen's favorite target, but he hasn't practiced this week. I don't think he's going to go with a hamstring injury. He was out last week with the same injury. If he's a surprise active for Thursday night, I think I'm leaving him on the bench anyway. Tough matchup, and he could retweak that hammy and be out by halftime anyway, so I'm just going to leave that one alone. And all the Bills wide receivers, they're all on the bench across the board. Keon Coleman was inactive last week for missing a team meeting, and while he was out, 6 different wide receivers saw targets. Khalil Shakir, Tyrell Shavers, Gabe Davis, Curtis Samuel, Josh Palmer, and McCole Hardman. All of them got targets last week. And Shakir would be the one you'd normally start out of these Bills wide receivers, but he had 1 catch for -3 yards, and the Texans are awesome against wide receivers. Top 4 in every statistical category, and no wide receiver has topped only 45 yards against the Texans in the last 4 weeks, 4 games, and nobody's hit 46 yards. That's crazy. On the Texans side, C.J. Stroud is out, so it's a Davis Mills game for the 3rd game in a row. In his 2 starts, he's hit 292 and 274 yards. But the Bills are awesome against the pass, and they're just brutal against the run. Opposing quarterbacks have not even tried against Buffalo because it's so easy to run on them. The Bills are only allowing 16 completions per game and 185 pass yards. I think I'm going to leave Davis Mills on the bench. I mean, it's not super surprising, as Davis Mills probably wasn't a guy you were going to war with every week, but I think I'll leave him on the bench this week. I will give a C-plus grade to Nico Collins, though. He's still startable. Alpha wide receivers have been all right against Buffalo, and some of them have actually gotten it done. Emeka Egbuka last week was the low man on the wide receiver one totem pole in recent history. He had 5 catches for 40 yards. But Jalen Waddle went for 584 and a score. Rashee Rice got to 80 yards. Tet McMillan got to 7 catches and 99 yards. And both Drake London and Stephon Diggs each managed 10 catches and over 145 yards. He's startable. I mean, alpha wide receivers are startable against this team. The rest of the wide receivers are on the bench, though. Higgins, Hutchinson, Noel, and Kirk are all splitting way too many snaps, even though it was Higgins getting 7 targets in each of the last 2 weeks. He may be emerging, but not in this matchup. Dalton Schultz is on the bench, too. The Bills are number 1 in every statistical category against tight ends. They haven't allowed a tight end touchdown since week 2, and only one tight end has topped that magical 46 yards against the Bills this year. 46 was Dan Arnold's old number. I think Brian remembers that one. But it's just a dismal matchup for Dalton Schultz. He's on the bench. Both Dalton tight ends in this game, both on the bench. But the Bills are number 1 against the tight end, and they're pretty much number 32 against the run, which means Woody Marks gets an A grade in this one. He got 19 touches last week compared to 3 for Nick Chubb, and he's been leading the backfield for the last month. The Bills are allowing 5.3 yards per carry and 147 combo yards to backs. We highlighted Sean Tucker on this show last week. He went against the Bills and had a huge day. They've also allowed the most rushing scores this year with 14 running back rushing scores through 10 games. If Nick Chubb was guaranteed like 7 touches in this one, I'd throw a C on him, but I don't trust that he will get to 7 touches in this one. So Woody Marks, A grade. Love him a lot. A reminder on Game Blazers, if you try Game Blazers this week, you might win your share of $36,000 in free roll contests. Sign up with the referral code FFAD for a free starter pack, a free rare pack, and I think they even got a deposit bonus on that sucker. Learn more at GameBlazer.com, GameBlazers.com. We'll be back tomorrow for another Fantasy Football Almost Daily with Trevor Jones as we preview this week's favorite DFS plays. We hope to have your eyeballs and ear holes back here next week on Fantasy Football Almost Daily. Not next week, tomorrow. Oh, man, I'm so bad at this. See you later.
This was Fantasy Football Almost Daily. Please subscribe and give us a 5-star rating wherever you listen to podcasts.